The IJS really grew out of my dear friend and colleague, Rabbi Rachel Cowan. She was at the Nathan Cummings Foundation at that time. Charlie Halperin, who was then the president of the Nathan Cummings Foundation, he said, Rachel, why isn't Jewish spirituality more accessible to Jews? And then he said famously to Rachel, do something.
By the late 1990s, you could look around and you could see that tens of thousands of American Jews, they went to college and they discovered insight meditation, transcendental meditation, yoga, vipassana, Zen. Our founders, people like Rabbi Nancy Flam, Rabbi Rachel Cowan of blessed memory, looked at that and said, what is this telling us about our own failure within the American Jewish community, that people couldn't find what they were looking for spiritually?
Who could be possibly better than Rachel Cowan?
Rachel was my very close friend. For years, every time I came to New York, I stayed at Rachel's apartment.
Rachel always had a revolving group of people who were staying with her.
We said to each other, we need to understand what's happening in the field.
So I began organizing the actual organization half-time in 1999. In the year 2000, we launched our first two programs. One was what became really the central program for rabbis.
The fundamental theory of change is the water drop, right, which was a logo of the Institute early on.
With the idea being that if the rabbis were lifted up spiritually,
the rabbi will then have interactions that will ripple out.
it would trickle down to their communities.
The rabbis they were working with, this was water in a desert.
The educators who came were so hungry for a desire to have the spiritual teaching, spiritual education, and the love of Judaism, the love of their craft, and the feeling of being taken care of.
There certainly was more resistance in the first 3 to 4 cohorts of rabbis. Well, isn't this really Buddhism? And how is this Jewish? And that would come up.
I didn't become a Buddhist. I'm a Jew who has found it very helpful to study the philosophy of the Buddha and of the techniques for validating that philosophy.
Mindfulness was already a secular practice. So we weren't going from Buddhism to Judaism. We were actually going from a secular practice using the mind into Judaism. And then our spiritual teachings, we didn't teach Buddhist texts. We taught Jewish texts. We taught Jewish prayer, Jewish texts. We never taught Buddhist texts.
The Torah study was almost entirely Chassidut. And interestingly, many of the rabbis had not studied Chassidut in their seminaries. We also in the first cohort had weekly study. We paired people in Chavruta. That became, for many people, the most important part of the program.
One of our goals is to create the field of Jewish mindfulness. And to do that, we need teachers.
Rachel Cowan said to me, Sheila, you have to teach other people to do what you do.
The JMMTT program, Jewish Mindfulness Meditate, you could say that 10 times fast, was developed to help people deepen their mindfulness, Jewish mindfulness practice, and to be able to teach it together. And that's a beautiful thing. And it gave people an opportunity to deepen what they had learned in our 2 major other programs, which were the clergy program and the same thing with Kivun. The Kivun program was for lay leaders who were interested in spirituality, who would really grab onto it and love it and help support the Institute.
So how could people really understand what IJS was about or what Judaism and spirituality without having some experience? So I think that the Kivun program introduced and nurtured that experience in people.
I actually still have the Hevruta that I had from Kivun. She and I speak once every 3 or 4 weeks about our practice and our Jewish lives, and it's It's been going on for years, which is really wonderful.
The idea that Central Synagogue would have a regular Jewish meditation set, I think 10 years ago, if you asked people at Central Synagogue, they would have laughed at that idea. But Rabbi Angela Buckdahl, who went on our clergy program a number of years ago, will say it's the most transformative thing that she's been part of in her rabbinic career.
Rabbi Lisa Goldstein, who was one of our executive directors after Rachel, so she was our third, she really got it that online accessibility was going to be key.
Before the pandemic, we had been really a retreat-based organization. Come March 2020, we couldn't do that. So on March 12th, 2020, we did our first daily online meditations that we weren't sure how long it was going to last.
During the pandemic, it was mind-blowing to me that 300 plus people were showing up for daily meditation.
This is about shifting Jewish culture, Jewish thought, Jewish organizational culture, education, spiritual life.
The founders understood what the widest Jewish community needed in that moment.
I think we started with a lot of depth, but we didn't know how to do the breadth. And I think what's happened over the years is that we've kept the depth, but we've really expanded the breadth.
We have hundreds of alumni all over the country. So that means we now have a whole generation of kids, of teens and young adults who have grown up with mindfulness practice in their schools, right? They have done meditation. They know what this is, and they're ready for it. They're eager for it. It started, this small thing around Rachel's kitchen table, and now it's spread to so many more kitchen tables around the country and around the world.